What's up, guys? We're going to do a bike check today. Now, I've had a lot of people on the trail ask me about this bike, and you guys have not seen this bike yet, so I'm going to go over both of them. So we're going to start off with this bike, which is a Highland. So this bike I got on AliExpress, and when they sent it to me with bent rims. And they kind of hem-hauled around, didn't want to give me new rims, so I filed a dispute and actually got $150 back on this bike, which was only $300. So I had kind of a choice, which was take that $150 and put it towards a better bike or build this bike up. And I chose to build this bike up because I wanted to learn more about the mechanics of the bike and all that and how to work on it. So every time something went wrong, which you've seen in previous videos, everything goes wrong. So this bike, I bought new rims for, which I know that people typically don't like Mavic rims, but the rims on this are the Mavic Cross Rides, because these are the only rims that I could find without building custom ones that were the QR quick release, the 9mm, and also had a free hub on it because I was not going to put a free wheel back on this bike. And then I put obviously Maxxis tires on it. Now, because I put a free hub on this and got rid of the free wheel, I had to completely redo the drivetrain. So I had to completely change the shifters, the brakes, and all that, because the shifter and brake that came with it were integrated together. And because I was not using that same shifter and everything, I had to basically, I scavenged these off of an old bike. These brake levers are not good at all, but they will get better. These bars, because I'm going to put hydraulic brakes on it, these bars actually came off my new bike. You'll notice that these are not the ones that have been in my videos. These are race face, I believe turbine bars, but I'm not positive. And then a race face stem as well. I don't know a whole lot about these bars. I know they're 35mm, but I don't know a whole lot else about them because I didn't pick them out. Diamondback did. And then I have spank grips on them, and I have these little things. Like, you guys can probably tell who I watch on YouTube by all the gear and upgrades that I put on my bike, because you can tell that some of these come from one person specifically that I watch. And obviously, Highland kind of got me upset about everything because they were being so difficult about giving me my money back and all that, or even just sending me new rims, which is what I wanted. So I covered up all their branding, kind of out of spite, but I've got obviously like box decals. This Maxxis one, I'm going to put a spank decal down there when I get some in, which brings us to the next thing. This is a box 2 derailleur and a gear set and everything on this is box 2. I got this, actually I got a really good deal. I bargain hunt a lot on eBay, and I got this for like $50 off, so that was a pretty good deal. And over here is just a cheap chainring, cheap cranks, because I have not changed out this bottom bracket yet, and I'm not going to spend a lot of money on cranks, and I'm going to end up having to replace anyhow. These pedals, they're completely caked in mud right now, but I love these pedals. They're like 20 bucks on Amazon, and I'm going to link all these parts that I can in the description below. But I've also got these 5mm spacers, because this used to be a 3x. So in order to keep my chain line right, I had to put these spacers back behind here. So with most cheap bikes like this one, the brakes were not very good. So these are Avid BB5s that I replaced on mine after my brakes actually just completely fell apart on me when I was trying to change the pads. You can see I put some blue nail polish on there because it was very bright red, which matches nothing else on this bike. And on this one, I actually kind of tried to do a little experiment here. That's black Sharpie, and I wanted to see which one held up more, and obviously the nail polish is holding up better. And we've got these aftermarket skewers just to make it look nicer. A lot of this stuff on this bike is not expensive, except for the I guess even the group set is cheap compared to what it is. These rims are fairly cheap. The tires aren't. Up here, I have a Trans X dropper post, which is actually very nice and was very cheap. I got it on eBay again. I believe I paid around $100 to $120 for it, which is very good for a dropper post. And this is a Velmia seat, which I actually kind of like these seats from when I used to ride on my hybrid bike around the neighborhood. These are very, very comfortable seats for a very good price. And this fork is a Rockshox Recon Silver RL. So basically, I didn't want to put any component on this bike that was more than what I had originally paid for this bike before the refund. So $300 is about as much as I'm going to spend on this bike for any one component. These were about $250. It was kind of hard to find one that wasn't tapered and one that was a quick release dropout and that had the travel. This has 140 millimeters of travel. So it was kind of, I found a lot of 100s and 120s, but this 140 was kind of difficult to find. But I did, and that is this bike. So this bike is my brand new bike. This is a Diamondback Sinker. And this is almost factory. I always change out a little bit on this bike. So you can see these orange brake hoses, those are obviously not stock. I put that on almost immediately because in my opinion, while it makes your bike stand out more, if your bike ever gets stolen, it's way better to have something like this that you can see and like you can look on Facebook posts or whatever, because there's not many Diamondbacks out there with orange hoses on it. So you can automatically tell the orange grips, the orange hoses, all that. You can tell that's my bike and you can convince the police this is my bike. So we've got here, these are actually the handlebars that I originally had. You guys might recognize these from my other videos. I like these ones, even though they're not the 35 millimeters, they're the 31.8. I like these ones a lot better because they're a little bit wider and they just feel more comfortable to me. I've got a Spank stem, and these are the Spank spike bars. I've also got Spank grips on this. And I've got Shimano M500 brakes, hydraulic brakes, which is this is the first time I've ever ran with hydraulic brakes. And because of these, I'm going to switch over my other bike to hydraulics because I've always heard people talk about how much they're better, but it was something that I really had to just kind of experience firsthand. So this brake hose is Jaguar, and it actually, you can buy a quick connect kit to it. So all you have to do is unscrew this and you can put any other Jaguar hose on this without having to worry about, you know, if it fits, if the threads are the same or whatever. Any Jaguar hose, it's all the same. And these shocks here are actually the same as my other bike, only they're the better version. They're the Rockshox Recon Gold RL. And these have 150 millimeter of travel. I can tell the difference in these two. Like between the silver and the gold, these are much, much better. It's a much cushier ride on these. As far as the tires, these are V Tire Co. These are very, very wide. These are 2.8 inches wide, which I've actually held up a soda can to these. And these tires are actually wider than a soda can. Like it's insane. Here's a little trail pump that Diamondback sent me, because I kind of made the joke to them that whoever put the front brakes on must have been angry because everything was tightened down so hard. I had to basically pull everything apart to do anything on it. These are the stock Diamondback pedals. We've already been riding today, so everything's dirty. SRAM SX cranks. I'm not sure what the bottom bracket is. I can put that down in the description. And then again, the Shimano MT500 brakes on the back. And those also have those quick releases. So for the gear set, the group set, I've got a SRAM SX Eagle 11 speed. So 11 speeds as opposed to the 9 speed on my other bike. This is a very good group set. I actually like this quite a bit. And up front I have a 32 tooth chainring. And this is honestly a great combo. I was actually surprised at how smooth the shifting is on this compared to the box. Not to say that the box is bad, it's just that there's so many more in here that you don't feel the jump between every gear. Because at first, when I first got this, I almost thought it wasn't shifting because it was so smooth. And then, you know, eventually as I was going, I realized it was. But this is so smooth compared to my other bike. This is actually a Trans-X dropper post as well. It came from the factory. It's very nice. It's a little bit different than my other one. This one actually feels way better. But any of them are good. Like my other one is great too. This is a little bag that Diamondback sent me because of the whole issue. It came with the pump and everything. But this is a great bike. I'm actually probably going to take this off because they sent it with a multi-tool and stuff too. I'm gonna put it on my other bike, which is a loaner bike now. I let my friends ride it. That way there's always a multi-tool with the bike. So between these two bikes, I like them both. Each one has its pros and cons. This bike, I know everything about. My yellow bike, I've done so much work to this bike, I know everything about it. It's also a lot lighter, which surprised me. This bike is insanely light compared to the Sinker. But this bike also has a lot of issues with it because I'm the one that's worked on it and I did not know what I was doing a lot of the time. So there's always something that needs fixed on it. I need to do this, I need to do that, whatever. The Sinker does not have that problem because it came from the factory. It's good, it's ready to go. The only thing I changed on it were the bars and the stem and the hoses. But as I get more into it, I'm probably going to change a little bit more on it. But overall, this bike should stay quite a bit more reliable than this bike because this bike is more modern, it's got better components, and it's just it was put together by professionals, not some dude in his garage. So this bike is overall a lot better for that. But as far as jumps, which I'm not great at jumps, as you guys have seen, but as far as like trail maneuverability, the little jumps that I do, this bike, the yellow bike, is a lot better for that because of its weight. This bike I just had down the trail and I had a hard time getting any kind of lift, any kind of air out of it because it's so much heavier. And that's something that I think is just a personal thing I'm gonna have to work on getting better with this bike to help remedy that. Well, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.